Greetings, intercessors, and welcome to your show. Isho yama intercessors, isho ye vanonnamatira nyika, isho ye vana vaJehovah. It's a platform of the children of the Most High God. It's a platform of intercessors. He platform ya lava abesabe uNkulunkulu, and we continue to gather here for the purposes of prayer. We are praying for the nation of Zimbabwe. And while we are praying for the nation of Zimbabwe, we discuss on what is happening physically on the ground so that we know the direction of our prayer. So very, very important each time that we gather as intercessors. And I'm so happy that we continue to meet and talk on issues that are pertaining to our nation. Nelson Chamisa hails Madhuku on Constitution, says ED is using millions to destroy his name. Right. I'm happy. I want to admit when I saw our president Nelson Chamisa, praising men like Madhuku on his stance against the 2030 constitutional coup ya Trikona irikuda kuti kwane zvigananda. And I think just a few days ago, I got a video where I was making a clarion call to all political leaders. Kuti vese tinoda kuonzwa vanhu vachitaura one voice. This time around, it has nothing to do with political parties or individuals. Inyaya yeZimbabwe. And kana takuona vanhu vakaita sana Nelson Chamisa vakubuda vachitaura kuti I support Professor Lavmo Madhuku on his stance about Zimbabwe. I felt very good. Thank you so much, President Nelson Chamisa. Thank you for that stance. And know that Zimbabweans have faith in you. We trust in you. And we continue to pray that God will use you for the betterment of the nation of Zimbabwe. Indeed, ED is using a lot of money. Trikuona accusations are kuramba achiunzwa nema-parrots eZANU-PF nema proxies, just trying to come up with some funny little accusations on him. There is ZANU yakanga ine very, very true concrete information, and the way that they play dirty, I'm telling you, vangade vakamuexposa kudhara. One thing chinoita kuti rambe defender Nelson Chamisa on the issue yekunzi akapuwa 20 million kana whatever, inyaya yekuti ZANU tinoiziva and how they played it. Look at how they've done kunyaya dzanasongezo shavangu dzese and all the shenanigans dzese dzatinoona vachingoplaya magames, macourts, parliament and so on. Do you really think kuti dai vakanga vane evidence that they gave Nelson Chamisa money and akaitora? I don't think that they could be keeping it. Vangade vakaibudisa kudhara vakamurovera pasi, because these are treacherous people. Vasi vanhu vokutemba vanokukanda pasi pebhazi anytime, especially kana vakuona kuti zvinhu zvavo zvavaomera. So that fact ndo yandiri holding on to myself, that if they had proper evidence vangade vakanguri vakazvitaura. So I want us to listen to what Nelson Chamisa is praising Professor Madhuku for. And I'm telling you, yes, there's quite a mouthful on what Professor Madhuku said pertaining to that. So this is Nelson Chamisa on his Twitter. He says, on point, this is the clearest summary of what is wrong about the overthrow of citizens' power. This must be resisted. All hands on the deck. Amen. Hashtag citizens' power. Right. So we indeed are hands on. All hands on the deck when it comes to this issue. Professor,
there's no doubt that those proposals are not good for the country. There's no doubt about it. There's also no doubt that they are unacceptable to the vast majority of the people of Zimbabwe. We must say quickly that proposals to amend the constitution cannot be just done in secrecy and then you emerge from some secret meeting to then put to the people of Zimbabwe far-reaching changes to the way they have been governed, the way they understand how the country must be structured. There's no person with such power in the country. Let's be clear about that. You are the president, you are Speaker of Parliament, you are a minister. No person in this country has the power from nowhere from the secrets of your meetings or bedrooms, just come up with far-reaching proposals and say, these are the proposals. Within 90 days, we will actually be changing the constitution. That is not part of the mandate that they were given to govern the country. So if you are the president, you're not given the mandate to change the way in which we are governed.
You just imagine. The fact that you are the president does not give you the mandate that you now have to change how the country is run, just because you were wapoa mkana wawana. And after all, Dilani was number mkana, as back as 2018, Zimbabweans have never given them a mandate. And look at now what they want to do. They create their own mandate, and want to seek up a mandate. You could have to mandate, we are going to govern this way, which is quite very, very regrettable.
Or even to make proposals. If you are parliament, you have no mandate to actually then say, well, we are here, we are given 5 years to be parliamentarians, we now want to give to ourselves a further. I mean, it's completely unthinkable.
Yeah, say that again, Professor. Unthinkable. Kurwara brain check kurita wana. And even vanozviziva kuti havavhoterwe futi sema-MP ariko vanozviziva kuti havasi kudzoka, saka they want to take advantage kuti zvatoda zvanaka totombopushawo mberi tomboramba tiripo tichidya. It's all about the stomach. Ndo zvakaipira politics dzedu. Hadzisi kuita care about the nation. What we want to see the nation becoming is not what they think about. Vanofunga about themselves. Their God is their bellies.
So I should say that the proposals don't make sense and that they shouldn't be part of our constitution. What it means is that there will be opposition to that, and people must be told that if they don't like those proposals, they have a right to reject them. I mean, speaking for myself and many people that I work with in the NCA and other organizations, the people that are pushing these proposals do not have the interest of Zimbabweans. Let's take the very simple issue of how we should have our president in the country. I think that it's quite obvious that the majority of the people would want to have a say in determining who becomes president. But this indirect arrangement, which says, well, you vote for an MP, and when these MPs sit in a room, they will then decide who should become our president. But as soon as they decide on that person and they vote for him, the person becomes the president of Zimbabwe. That change cannot sit with, for the past 35 years, 34 years actually, from 1987 up to now, we have had an executive president, but we started the elections of a direct election in 1990. So 1990 to now 2026, so it's about 36 years. For 36 years, we have lived under a political system where we would elect our president. So people would have ambitions to be president. People will also believe that if they have a president that they elected, they can go to him, her, and things like that. The country is governed. That is what I can call the political psychology, or whatever we would have in our mindset. You can't just change that. And when you want to change that, you also cannot do it and say, I'm not going to go to people to ask them what they think, because they gave me a mandate. Because that's my understanding of the argument.
You see, exactly what Professor Madhuku is saying here. Because surely, how do you say iwewe ndiri kuchinja constitution because ndakapiwa mandate nevanhu, ndiri president kana ndiri MP ndakapiwa mandate nevanhu, ndapiwa mandate saka ndaane right yekuchinja constitution, but you still can't go back to the people ivavo vakakupa mandate yacho whether they want you to do that, because the mandate is not for you to change the constitution. The mandate is for you to uphold the constitution. Kubva kuna president anofanira kuti uphold. My MPs, Paulita swearing yao is to uphold, not to come in what ndane mandate saka ndakuchinja constitution, right? Abantu lava ngabepiwe imandate. Imandate abayipiweyo asiyo mandate yokuthi bona bachinche i-constitution. Imandate yokuthi bona balondoloze i-constitution, barespect, bahloniphe i-constitution. So abala mandla ama-MP laye urukachivende wangkhona akala mandla awukuthi yena athina semfuna ukuchinja i-constitution ngoba lina lanika i-mandate, whether samnika kumbe asimnika, that one is another different story. But they don't have that mandate. They don't have the power. They have to go back again to the people, because the constitution is people driven. It is not party driven. It is not presidential candidate driven or MP driven. No, it's people driven mandate. So they vari kutiza aisava magwala havadi kudzoka kumazimbabwe vanoziva kuti it's a dead end. Varume hatiwini nemhaka yekuti hatisati tambowina election. 2018 takabira, 2023 tikabira. Saka tikada kucreate another election yereferendum tichakwapaidzwa zvokwapaidzwa zvi. And in this time vanoziva kuti even vanhu vari muZANU-PF vacho havasi kuda kuti Mnangagwa aende. Saka kurohwa kwacho this time around kune kwakatooma. It will be a whitewash. Saka they don't want to risk that. Vakuda kuzvidza vana clever vachishandisa vana mulevu kuda kunohwanda behind the finger.
Where were they given that mandate to change that, that they would do it with? So the fact that they are hinting at not wanting a referendum means that they know very well that what they want to do is not in the interest of the people. Now, that won't be allowed. So what is going to happen is that there will be so many mechanisms. One mechanism that we have, the current constitution puts in place courts. They also put in place among the courts the constitutional court, which is actually specifically supposed to be the custodian of the constitution. That's what that court is supposed to be. So it must be our first court of call. We have a very simple issue. Can these changes be done without a referendum? The movers of these proposals say it can be done without a referendum. We are saying it cannot be done without a referendum. That's a legal question. It's just a matter of what does the constitution currently say. So we go to court. That's not a street issue. We can only think about streets in that regard once the court says there's no referendum. Once the court makes that interpretation, then we go political.
Right, indeed. You remember the past days I've been saying kuti hakuna vanhu vanoomesera mamagistrate nemajaji seiva vava vanaruka vane ZANU-PF yavo. Vanoda kupusha kuti kutendera kuti majaji vaiswe panguva yakaoma. You know, judges in Zimbabwe, they are put in a very, very tight corner. Because something that is written in the constitution in black and white, in the event that you want to change this, you go to the people. Right? Vanoda kutora constitution iyo vagoenda nayo yakadaro and expect that judge kuti ape judgment that supports them. Very, very funny. And vanokonzera some suicidal judgments that end up being given by these judges. Yekuti judge iyeye will never have a career again after Mnangagwa and after ZANU-PF. Judge iyeye will never find a job anywhere again in the world because of such judgments. Because every judgment a judge gives, it is attached to their portfolio. Saka unozono interviewer kuno kunza, how did you give a judgment panyai? Zvukotokushaisa basa izvozvo. Saka they will never be employable in the whole world. They will never again be employed in a new great Zimbabwe. Saka zvotora kuti judgment inopuwa na judge here is the nail in his coffin. Zvavarana. Otoziva kuti hapasina. Ndosaka vachizopedzisira vatozoitawo join them. Votoitanga kuita arrogance to help protect them. Because vakutoziva kuti our career ends with these people. Saka vakatomboramba varipo career yedu ichamboendawo mberi mbichana until pavachabvawo. Vangoziva kuti tinenge tabenefitawo for that time. Because hakusina kwatichaenda. We have had our careers messed up by these people.
We still want a referendum. And so forth. Is that clear enough? That's the position that should be. So people must not be worried. I don't see these proposals succeeding. From the interactions we have with so many, they are so unacceptable that I think most of the people that are at the forefront of pushing them in place and so on, these are people that are experimenting. They are not well grounded in politics, although they are doing it in the name of people that are grounded in politics. But the front runners of the proposals are people that will have a rude awakening to say that you cannot just think that you have had a brilliant idea, you move from what you have stored into a head into a paper, and then somewhat you are likely to get that passed by cabinet, and you are also likely that you can speak to the nation and say this. Those things they can do, moving papers from one office to the other, and even publishing things in the Gazette. But the political process of getting the people of this country to say that from now on we'll be governed by those proposals, that's a very difficult process. And they'll have to do it. I mean, they have to have all the power. I'm sure, I don't know if they are relying on their own power. unfortunately, they won't succeed unless they were given the power of God. But without the power of God and they have their own power, that simply that they were elected in the last election, they can simply lose that mandate within minutes. I'm sure we all know that. You can lose them. You were elected in 2023 years. But what is the current mood? That's why in many countries you can even have what are called snapper. You can call an election now. It doesn't mean that other people will win again with this nonsense that they're spreading around. So an electoral mandate is not there for abuse. You can't keep referring to what you got in 2023. Actually, now about 3 years ago, it will be 3 years ago from the last election, and that is not enough, and so on. I think even in our show now, goodbye mataka, it's mataka jikakare, anyala zichi man. Ongati ndani nzara naso mataka jikakare. That's irrelevant. I mean, we are here now to look at what are the interests of Zimbabweans. You know, they elected me in 2023. So we should be saying that I think they want to cause political instability. That's what they're up, which is bad for these politicians to invite, because there will be people who oppose. And I'm sure now that they have state power, they will say, well, if you oppose, we'll arrest you. If you oppose, the usual thing. But certainly they will be opposed, and certainly they must prepare to arrest people. And that is now to invite political trouble.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. The issue that we have always been saying, whilst ivo vachida kuchichidzira vachiemta maprison and so on, iyoyo movie iyoyo ndo suicide yavo iyoyo. Muchiri kurangara ndichitaura kuti kana vamova that way vakangoda kuita pounce on people, especially on this matter inocontrolwa nevanhu iri an international matter, vouya vopouncer on people vagosunga vanhu vakodi. Ndakazvitaura many times kuti ndo inenge ichinzi ndo suicide inenge yaitiwa nana Mnangagwa iyoyo, ndo straight away. Hapana. Saka vave careful zvavo, because ndo pavanogona kutonyurira ipapo pakuzodaita brutal ipapo manje kana vanhu vati no. Saka maZimbabweans, let us be ready kuti timbodefenda this thing. Kana vaita brutality yavo ndo ichavanyudza iyo, motoziva kuti havachayambuka, havabudi pairiyo. Exactly what Professor Madhuku is saying, what we've been saying in the past days.
You have a peaceful country, they should know that people will rise against these things, and so on. We do it peacefully, etc. So we engage in courts, especially for that. We have no problem with them now trying to say they go to their parliament, that is okay. But I also need to add that it is very worrying that these politicians believe that the mere fact that you belong to a particular political party would mean that as an MP you must not think. So they say we have a 2/3 majority. So those people in parliament must not think. If you as an MP, just accept that proposal. There's something wrong with that party, not wrong with the political system. The political system which is parliament must benefit from parliamentarians each independently applying their mind.
Yes, atina maparliamentary acho. We don't have MPs. Tinongova nemabunny heads chete arimwe, just baboons on trees shouting. Havana brain, havana kusiyana nevarakashi. And yet every MP anenge ane right yake yekuti afunge ega. But I think inyaya yekuti maZimbabweans tanyanya kupindwa neka selfish. Saka selfishness yedu yanyanya to the point yekuti ma-MPs chero vakaziva chokwadi kuti this is not good for the country, vakuzviitira kuti ivo vabenefite personally. Saka zvazvesurvival. Saka hatichafungi about other people as Zimbabweans. Takufunga mostly about ourselves. Takaona last time mu-ANC kuchiitwa nyaya yaivhoterwa iya yepalapala iya. We saw quite a lot of MPs veningi ve-ANC chaicho vakati kwanzi Ramaphosa ngaatongwe nenyaya yepalapala, right? And it was one of them was Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. She voted kuti ngaatongwe Mchinda. Iya aine position iri very high mu-ANC, you see. But anyway, hatisi kuzviona zvichiitika kwedu izvozvo.
But ZANU-PF is running the country on the basis that parliamentarians are robots or rubber stamps. That must be changed, etc. So those are my reactions. It's unacceptable. They also want to do it in an unconstitutional way. If they believe what they are doing is constitutional, let's meet in the courts but the courts are not going to be the end of the matter. If the court says it's unconstitutional, that of course is the end of the matter. But if the court say it's constitutional, we will then try and make it change the constitution in a way. We will resist it politically.
Right. Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Right. Tikutsvaga maZimbabweans akadai panguva inoi. Because tiri panguva yakaoma hama dzangu. Nguva yekuti Satani ari kuda kusvetukira nyika takatarisa ende hatizozvitendera izvozvo. So this is why Nelson Chamisa is hailing Professor Madhuku for this stance on the constitution, and he says everyone must be on board. All hands on the deck. Let us all stand up. Let us defend. Ati defend nyika. Ati kutendera kuti zvikananda zvite zvavanoda nenyika yedu. Tataura kuti no ways ngavamiswe ende vachamiswa. Ende Zimbabwe inosununguka badzi. Kana vasingazivi moto wavari kuda kutanga ndo unogona kuva riva ravo rokupedzisira. Let's keep praying for the nation and let's keep believing God. Our God is faithful and freedom is coming.